Hello and welcome to the first episode of a brand new web series from MEP Middle East. I'm editor Tom Oxtoby, and joining us today is P&T Director Rehan Shahid, who's here to discuss the impact of COVID on his organisation as well as the wider industry. Rehan, thank you for being here. Let's get straight into it. 2020 has been a year unlike any other. What have the last 6 months looked like for your organisation, and what does the second half of the year hold?
Thanks for having me, Tom. The first quarter of the year was quite challenging, to say the least, especially when dealing with a situation that was very dynamic, worrying, and the entire world was trying to realize the gravity of the situation. Come lockdown, thankfully, we were somewhat better prepared in comparison, as we were already utilizing the tools of technology available to carry out design activities, presentations, virtual meetings, etc. This for one of our big projects in Riyadh and from our Dubai office. So when the lockdown was initiated, it took us just a few days actually to allow over 100 employees to start working from home. Our projects in the UAE that were in the construction stage were not affected by it, thankfully. But when it comes to new assignments, there has been a dramatic slowdown. Of course, we're concerned, no doubt about it, but we all saw it coming, I suppose. So what should be done? What should we do, and what should be the way forward? Well, you just get on with it and put even more effort in. Now we are in the second sort of, second half. It's the advancing phase. In the second half, it's kind of business as usual when it comes to current existing jobs. We are receiving a lot of RFPs also from across the border, and have a positive feel about things improving by early next year, taking into consideration that hopefully by then there will be a vaccine available for COVID-19, which should help market confidence to return as a result. I hope that sort of, that sums it up really.
That's good, and that's encouraging that you're looking towards next year for that uptick. This pandemic has provided everyone with a chance for perspective and internal reflection. It really has been a pandemic that's focused on individuals and people. What have you learned about yourself throughout this pandemic?
Well, surely there are many lessons learned, and the learning process continues. It helps to be prepared and to have procedures in place that can be employed when such unforeseen circumstances arise. This one was an exception. We have seen nothing like this before. Having a good and secure IT infrastructure is extremely important for any business these days. Teamwork is crucial, yet challenging when working from home. And we all know about that everybody was working from home when the lockdown was initiated. But working alone is not an efficient option. The quicker we accept this fact and adapt, the better we will be prepared to face the challenges. The measure of success we've realized during this pandemic would be talent retention, effective communication with colleagues in these difficult times, meeting client expectations, and of course the ultimate, to bring in new business.
And so much is spoken about in our sector, in our industry, about digitalisation and moving our ways of working forward. Would you agree there's been this pandemic has caused a shunt forward in the way we operate? And do you feel these changes, these new innovations, these new lines of communications and new expectations have become the new normal now?
Yes, a good part of it will be, it seems. 40% of our colleagues are now working from home, and that has allowed us to reduce our office space considerably. We are now also providing limited hot desking seats for occasional guests and colleagues from other P&T offices. So definitely there will be radical changes to the way we use office space and conduct business in the future. In my opinion, there will still be the odd need to have face-to-face meetings, a very human element that has its own merits and cannot be discounted. And perhaps we will see it return as soon as people are ready for it. So yeah.
The nature of a health crisis like this, and the potential that a virus so debilitating could be airborne, and what that could look like in the future, it's really shone a light on MEP and HVAC systems and the way they can help prevent and mitigate similar outbreaks in the future. Have you noticed that immediate shift in client attitudes when you're offering your services and talking to clients?
Absolutely. There's a great deal of emphasis on clean, virus-free indoor environment from the government and semi-government institutions. Others a little less, but definitely there's an obvious concern. As engineers, it's yet another dimension that we need to be well-versed in and to add to our design responsibilities in line with client expectations. Let's admit it, this is why one hires consultants for expertise and advice. I must add that as we have been working on healthcare projects for quite some time now, we have the knowledge and expertise to meet this very important present demand. And it's a requirement that is here to stay, it seems.
And is there anything else you want to touch on in this time?
Yes, few things that I feel that when this lockdown happened and we had to have this shift, everyone had to sort of work from home and try to use these new tools. And I was a little surprised to see how fast everyone working from home was able to use different IT tools and skills effectively. Like what we are doing now, like video conferencing and sharing work of live and presentations. The fact that few teams in the firm already had the skills and experience made everyone's lives much easier when it mattered the most. So going back to what I've mentioned earlier, it's very important to be ready for such kind of situations. Unforeseen situations. Another thing that I've realized is because everybody is using the same tools and technology to sort of get the attention of the potential clients, it's become a little bit difficult to grab their attention because they've been subjected to this sort of information overload. Which is kind of having this negative impact. So we need to constantly develop and constantly sort of come up with new ways to grab their attention. And this is what I was addressing earlier on when I said that we are sort of conducting this exercise where we are carrying out a virtual tour of our existing project that we're working on for potential client outside UAE, so they can see what we have done, what we have achieved. So yeah, it's a learning process. We are in the process. We are sort of trying to sort of reinvent ways of reaching our audiences.
Great. Rehan, sadly, that's all we've got time for today. I'd just like to extend my warmest thanks for you joining us today on our first episode of our new webinar series.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for having me.
And to our viewers, we will see you on the next one. Until then, stay safe.